Today we have a very special guest. He is a TEDx speaker and the founder of Mano Samvada. He is also a psychologist, an NLP coach, and trainer, Akshara Damle. Hi, Akshara.
I've become acquainted with your professional bio, but how would you briefly describe your life story? How did you get into your career as a well-being coach and as the founder of Mano Samvada? How did you start?
I was doing my graduation in biotechnology. Around that time, I realized that a lot of people come to me to express their grief, their sorrows, their sadness.
Uh,
So I was not realizing why are they coming to me. That
mm-hmm,
too, those people who are not in very good acquaintance with me also used to come. Then slowly I started reading a few articles on psychology, and then I started getting interest in psychology.
mm-hmm,
So I took a turn from biotechnology to psychology. So I
mm-hmm.
did my master's in psychology. So that is the primary reason for me to take up psychology in
Yeah,
the masters.
yeah.
And
Manos,
later on,
okay, go ahead.
later on, it became way more passionate thing for me that people come to me and
Mm-hmm,
consult me, and things are getting sorted out. So
mm-hmm.
that's how I moved on with the career.
Does Mano Samvada mean anything in India? I mean, Hindi? Is
Yes,
it Hindi? Yeah.
yes.
What does it mean?
Mano refers to mind. Actually, in Sanskrit, if you look at it,
Mm-hmm,
has to be Manas Samvada, but for the sake of convenience of pronunciation, I have
mm-hmm,
made it Mano Samvada.
mm-hmm,
Manasu refers to mind, and
mm-hmm.
Samvada refers to conversation. So instead of calling something else, I thought let us start the conversation about mind and mental health. Then only we can move towards better mental health in the society.
I agree. Okay. So, as an expert in stress management, I would like to
Hmm.
ask for some tips on how to cope up with stress. Okay. So, you recently posted a video of you doing a TEDx talk, right?
Yes.
Yeah. For those who get stressed when being requested to like speak in public, what has worked for you to get rid of the jitters in public speaking?
Okay, in public speaking
Yeah.
for myself, I see.
Yes. Yeah, because you're so comfortable like doing public speaking, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. What would be your
Um,
advice for those who are like afraid or get stressed out when, when talking in public?
One thing is we should be having a clear idea about what the subject that we are going to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever we are going to have a public speaking,
Yeah.
we should have a very clear idea about what we are going to speak. And further, this ease of talking has come with practice.
Yeah.
I used to practice in front of mirror
How many times?
many times, maybe
Many, many
100
times.
times you can say, yeah.
Okay.
And one advantage that I got is in my childhood itself,
Mm-hmm.
my father trained me for public speaking. So
Oh.
till 10th standard, I was public. I mean, I was participating in competitions of public speaking.
Oh.
But later on, I lost that. What do you say? The skill of public
Yeah.
speaking from 11th standard. So
From?
till degree,
Mm-hmm.
I was not going for public speaking at all
Mm-hmm.
because I was recognized as a singer. I mean, I'm a classic.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
So mostly my recognition was as a singer. So I used to get more of stage performances for singing. So
Wow. Can you give us a short sample?
you want me to sing? 1 minute.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, वातापि गणपतिं भजे तं वातापि गणपतिं भजे तं वातापि गणपतिं भजे तं वारणास्यं वरप्रदं श्रीवातापि
Wow.
गणपतिं भजे तं
Wow.
वारणास्यं वरप्रदं श्री.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a very soulful rendition. I can feel your soul when you sing. What is that song all about?
This is about the Lord Ganapati is a Lord with
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
elephant face. This song is dedicated to Lord Ganapati. You can listen to my songs on YouTube
Oh,
if you
really?
can search.
You should share the link later, okay? That is, what do you call that
Definitely.
kind of song? Is that Carnatic? Is that correct?
Yes, Carnatic classical music.
Carnatic.
Exactly.
Carnatic, right, right. It is very common in the modern workplace to be assigned multiple tasks and to multiple bosses, right? At the same
Mm,
time.
mm,
So, how
mm.
should one organize himself or herself to produce quality work even under stress or tight deadlines and with different bosses?
Uh, One first thing that they have to recognize is what are the areas where they are getting stresses from. It's not necessary that all the bosses are very rude or very strict or not
Mm-mm.
empathetic at all. And also we need to recognize the priorities of
Uh-huh.
work. Say if you have to if you have to work with two bosses, then
Mm-hmm.
prioritize the work.
Yes.
And most importantly, if we look from classical psychological perspective, there are only
Uh-huh.
two methods to cope with the stress.
Okay.
First method is to remove the stress causing agent. Not possible in the workplace because you can't remove the
Yes,
boss.
yes.
And
So,
even if you
yeah.
remove, someone else will come there.
Yeah.
And so the second option is emotionally coping with the stress. Now, how to cope with emotionally is the question. When I conduct these workshops on stress management, one common thing that I recognize is lot of people are not in touch with their emotions. In the sense, they are not able to recognize their emotions. For
So
example, if
they're
I
in denial. You mean they are in denial?
either they are in denial,
Mm-hmm.
or even if they are experiencing something, they are not in a position to express what is that they are experiencing.
Especially
Say for
for
example,
men.
somebody is getting frustrated, he or she will not be able to recognize what is the exact feeling that I am experiencing right now. The first thing to emotionally cope is to recognize the feeling that you have. So what I do is in the workshops, I give them so many different types of emotions. You can also go through that is there is a wheel, emotional wheel, that is
Mm-hmm.
available on. So I make them to recognize what are the different feelings that they had on the previous day and the same day of the workshop. So stress management has to start from there. What we have been doing is whenever we have stress, we generally start or prescribe pranayama and meditation, which I also do. But before that, we need to recognize where are the stress coming from, and
Mm-hmm.
we also have to learn emotionally coping the stress, because pranayama and meditation are good to give a supporting structure.
What is that again? Well, how do you spell that? Ramada?
Pranayama refers to
Anayama.
yeah, P
Anayama.
R A N A
Mm-mm.
Y A M, pranayam.
Ah, okay.
That's the
Pranayama.
yogic technique.
Yoga. It's like yoga,
Yeah,
correct?
yes, it is a part of yoga.
Part of yoga.
Yeah, so there are different types of breathing exercises that
Mm-mm.
is prescribed in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, holy text, or the it's like a constitution for yoga.
Mm-mm.
Patanjali's Yoga Sutras are like constitution for yoga.
Is it more
So
of
in
stretching or just sit while sitting down?
no, no, no. There are different breathing exercises. For example, there is one simple breathing exercise I
Mm-hmm.
can show you. I'll just put on the video so that you
Okay.
can look at it. So,
Mm-hmm.
first breathing exercise is very simple. Take breathe from left nostril and leave it in the right, and
Mm-hmm.
take right breathing from the right nostril and leave it in the left. So this completes one cycle. I'll just demonstrate.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, when we practice this pranayama for at least 10 to 15 times, that
Mm-hmm.
gives lot of oxygen to our body.
And to the
And
brain, right? Yeah. And to the
absolutely,
brain.
absolutely,
Yeah.
yes. And it also helps in giving that energy for our body, and also it helps in clearing the nostrils. Say, in case
Mm-hmm.
if there is any blockage,
Blockage.
this pranayama will help in cleaning the blockage. The second pranayama that I generally prescribe is called as Bhastrika. Bhastrika is all about taking deep breath in
Mm-hmm.
and breathing or exhaling with force. It's like
From the nose.
from nose itself, not
Mm-hmm.
from the mouth. So
How
if you
many
have cold,
times?
sorry,
How many times? So,
uh,
could you give some tips on how to respond if, for example, your manager gave you a negative feedback in front of your peers, and then you feel so stressed because of that negative feedback that you received from your manager?
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, I like the term that you use, that is respond.
Mm-mm.
Most of us end up giving reaction. Reaction is something that is very quick, and
Mm-mm.
there is no thought process that happens before a reaction. As you know, it is action and reaction. They are
Mm-mm.
coming simultaneously. But whenever you respond, there is a time lag before you giving a response.
So you need to count.
Right? How to respond is the question. Now, if a boss is insulting you in front of your colleagues,
Mm-mm.
first is to recognize, was there a stuff in his argument?
Mhm.
whether whatever he said was right or was he wrong, because it's not necessary that bosses are always right, though
Mm-mm.
they pretend. So once you analyze the uh, stuff in the argument of the boss or
Mhm.
the content of the argument of the
Mm-mm.
boss, start introspecting what if there is a substantial argument from the boss side
Yeah.
which is which holds true,
Mhm.
then it is only a matter of course correction. You don't have to feel annoyed or say insulted, because that is the best way for you to develop. But if you have not committed any mistake and the boss has blasted on you
Mhm.
without and also when he's at fault, then what one can do is
Mhm.
certainly one has to take that courage to
Mhm.
go to the boss and express
Mhm.
our grief or our disappointment, because of course there is a risk, because the boss
And
has
you should
the authority.
also, yeah, there should be a timing, correct timing.
Yes, there should be a timing,
Yeah.
and also the way of conveying. Most of
Mm.
us end up conveying in a very harsh way,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
we just go and
Mm-mm.
weep in front of the boss,
Mhm.
which is not the right way, because
Mhm.
then our boss may have, if you are replying in a harsh way, then boss has
Mhm.
the very quick solution for it, that is removing you from the organization. And if you are crying, then boss may think that you are too weak. So before that also, I will come back to the my primary preposition, that is understanding the emotions are important, and then
Mhm.
expressing the emotions are also important. So you can say, boss, I really liked the way you told me that
Mhm.
there was something mistake that was happening from my end, but I would have liked it more
Mhm.
probably if you had told it to me personally
Mhm.
instead of telling it in front of others, so that not offending him at all. Now there is a power relationship here, so you
Mhm.
can't simply go and just put charges on him. So
Mm-mm.
by understanding the power relationship,
Mm-mm.
somewhere you're not compromising on your self esteem or self respect,
Mhm.
but at the same time you are going for a negotiation. You're not going for a
Mhm.
contradiction, or you're not going for a quarrel with
Yes.
the boss. So then if you quarrel, then it will increase the stress, it will not reduce. But if
Mm-mm.
you go for a negotiation and convey your emotions that
Mm-mm.
okay, I am in the process of learning, even if something if you have committed a mistake, or if you are at fault,
Mm-mm.
still you can
Mm-mm.
go to him, apologize for whatever the mistake that you have done.
Thank you so much, Akshara, for this wonderful interview, and more power to you.